Hello and welcome to the 2017 Herald Women's Premier League Grand Final today from Jack McLaughlin Oval at Edgeworth. Warners Bay, the minor premiers, took out the premiership in this year's WPL, taking on second place Merewether United. These two sides were streets ahead in 2017 of every other side in the competition, so we've got the grand final that we wanted in this particular clash. With me in commentary today, I've got Cass Wright and Emily Frost. Girls, this should be a cracking battle.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good game today. Battle of, I'm guessing, the midfield. The midfield win it. They've definitely will put those chances forward.
Emily, you played against Merewether over the last 2 weeks in the semi-finals for Adamstown. What have you made of them?
Oh, I think they absolutely dominated both games. We struggled to hold the ball in the midfield, and while in patches we looked really good, I think if they can take the patches that they looked good from last week into a full game performance this week, they'll be very hard to beat.
Interesting team news for both the sides. I'll run through the lineups. For Warners Bay in goals is 20 Rhiannon Hines, 2 Ellie Davis, 3 Brooke Miller, 4 Taria Campbell, 5 Nadia Squires, the captain, 6 Cass Davis, 7 Jenna Kingsley, 10 Sass Seaborn, the goal scorer in last year's grand final win, 11 Corrine Krupa, 13 Georgia Miners, 17 Sophie Stapleford. On the bench for them is 1 Amber Latham, 8 Zoe Jones, number 51, Sian Keating, 71, Caitlin Lydiard, and 131, you don't see that very often, Amira Makunja. For Merewether United in goals is 1 Alison Logue, 2 Sarah Hartree, 4 Sarah Halverson, 5 Taylor Braithwaite, 6 Riley Dobson, 7 Nicole Jones, 9 Letitia Quinlan, the match winner from the 2015 grand final, 11 Jamie Ellis, 13 Ellie Withers, 12 Grace McIntyre, and 10 Jane McDonald on the bench for them. Interesting news here, 8 Laurie Depczynski, 15 Rebecca Stewart, 16 Carolina Kasic, 14 Freya Clifton, and number 37 Shani Vasey. So they're the lineups. Alison McCready, the referee for this year's decider. And the weather here at Edgeworth, it's been a little bit drizzly. The rain has stayed away at the moment. It's 16 degrees, and the wind is, well, very, very light here compared to what it is in the rest of Newcastle. Just 16 kilometres an hour from the south-southwest. So it's all set up for the big decider. Warners Bay looking to go back-to-back after last year's 1-0 win over Wallsend. Merewether looking to make it 2 grand final wins in the last 3 years after they won in 2015. Jenna Kingsley and Cass Davis to get us underway. And the 2017 WPL Grand Final is off and running. And Warners Bay looking to push forward. Alison Lowe gets an early touch. And Cass, who was your money on today? Who do you think's going to get the job done?
Yeah, again, I think Merewether, if they play ball to feet and do the combination play through the central areas, they're up front duo of Grace McIntyre and, of course, Riley Dobson. If they get to the ball at their feet, they're hard to stop in the front third.
Well, there's Sass Seaborn and Kingsley laying it off for Cass Davis. Those two have been outstanding this year. Kingsley, 32 goals. Cass Davis, 17. It's Riley Dobson, Merewether's leading scorer, with 20 this year, getting an early touch. These two sides have met on 3 occasions this season. Merewether United with the upper hand. They've won twice. They won the first and the most recent battle between the sides this year. 2-1 they won in round 5, 3-2 in round 19, and Warners Bay won the match in the middle in round 12, 1-0 at John Street Oval. Davis takes on the Merewether defence down the left edge. The best attack up against the best defence. Warners Bay, 71 goals this season, 21 conceded. This ball whipped in. Alison Logue takes that one nicely in front of the near post. For United, they scored 67, conceded just 19 in 18 matches. So they've been rock solid at the back. Jones with the throw, and Braithwaite over the sideline. Just 2 minutes gone. Both sides trying to feel each other out at the moment. Looking central for Sarah Halverson, so tall. Halverson pushing in on goal. And Warners Bay did well at the back. Such a strong player, isn't she, Sarah Halverson? Emily, you would have come up against her the last couple of weeks. Very tough player to defend.
Yeah, she's a great player. I think the big thing you have to worry about with Sarah is she never pulls out of a ball. You really need to make sure you're coming to that ball, otherwise she's going to get there and put a touch in. When she gets away, she's quick. You can't let her go for too long, that's for sure.
So Brooke Miller will take the goal kick here. Spent some time with the Jets in the W League. 11 W League matches, a fringe player for them. 3 matches last season in Craig Deans' side, which finished 5th in the Westfield W League. Grace McIntyre also part of that side. McIntyre receives a pass from Jones, and back it goes for Ellis. Knocks it up the ground. Ellie Davis in there. Jane McDonald now. The veteran in this Merewether lineup. Jane McDonald, 31 years of age. Kingsley almost played in there by Davis. Alison Logue, interestingly, Merewether United's goalkeeper. She hasn't played for 3 years before this season. And in her entire career before that, she's received 3 cards in her entire career. 2 have come this season. So she'll hope to stay out there for the 90 minutes today. McIntyre trying to chip over the top. Cass, who do you think is the key for both sides today? We spoke Jane McDonald, so good in the midfield before the match. Cass Davis, very much for Warners Bay.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's watching Warners Bay last week against Middies, Sass Seaborn was actually quite good in the attacking side. She was actually playing on the left today. She's playing on the right, where we see Sophie Stapleton come back for them. So if she gets a hold of the ball and can travel forward, I think that's a good attacking for Warners Bay. Where Merewether, you've got your normal Ellis through there, and then obviously when Laurie comes on, she'll be a good duo with her.
And what a story it is. What a story. Sophie Stapleford, I should say, returning to the WPL this year after last playing in 2014. She had a brain tumour. Outstanding story to come back and play this season. And she's been one of Warners Bay's best. She's scored 4 goals this year. There's Riley Dobson. Look forward for Herbert. Taria Campbell is there with the interception. Letitia Quinlan just to get in there, and Braithwaite lays it off for McIntyre. Swerves through the middle. Halverson. Now McDonald. Seaborn wins that duel. The goal scorer in last year's grand final, Sass Seaborn. It was a scrappy one up at Western, but it counted all the same. It's a grand final against Wallsend that ebbed and flowed. Jenna Kingsley, who's out there for Warners Bay, is in opposite colours last year playing for Wallsend. She scored 32 goals this year, Jenna Kingsley, and I was having a look back through the years, back as far as 2012, the stats go. No player in a season has scored more than Jenna Kingsley, 32 goals. Riley Dobson scored 31 a few years ago. But she has been in white-hot form this year. You expect probably another season with the Jets, I'd say. Cass is Jenna Kingsley. She was great for them last year, the equal leading goal scorer. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Deansy actually has been out to watch a couple of their games. So he's keeping a track of all these W League players. So Grace, Riley, Cass and Jenna. And, of course, Libby out of the Wallsend team.
Withers whips in across there. Quinlan trying to knock it back in. It's looking like it will be a corner. Let's see what the decision from Alison McCready is. It will just be the goal kick. Yeah, and that's the great thing about the WPL, isn't it? Craig Deans having a look at some of these players for the W League.
It's great, and if we have a look at the players that he brought in last year for the train-on squad, he brought in Nikki Jones and Tori Campbell, and he actually gets to look at the players coming through. Did he have any out of Adamstown, Em? But at least he has the access to those players and can see the ones that are coming through that have potential to play in the W League.
Here's Halverson. Wide for Riley Dobson, another Jets W League player. She's been outstanding for them over the years. 61 games, 10 goals. Here's Davis. A pretty even start to this one. Quinlan, the centre circle. Here's Nadia Squires pushing forward and through a gap. It just opened up for her. She looks through for Jenna Kingsley, who has got plenty of pace, we know that. Emily with Adamstown, watching the likes of Jenna Kingsley with her speed up front. What was your tactics to try and reduce her impact?
I think you definitely have to be worried about her pace, but she's also very clever with her runs in behind. Quite often she'll catch a lot of defenders out by running from the fullback across into the centre back on their blind side. So, I mean, really you just need to be smart with the way that you're marking her and have plenty of communication, which between Nikki, Jamie and Sarah, they're pretty good at their communication, so they'll just need to stay on that for the whole 90 minutes.
It's one of those tough ones, just a ball over the top. And Jenna Kingsley can be off and running. Here's Dobson with a header, and it just goes wide. Good opportunity. It was a nice ball in from Grace McIntyre from the right edge. Will be Brooke Miller again. Chipping it forward. Quinlan gets a boot in. Back for Miller. Shanked clearance from the Bay. They push forward and Withers stuck out a boot. It's able to get through. And here they push forward through Seaborn. She's got Kingsley in the centre, Sass Seaborn. Well defended by Jamie Ellis there. And what have you made, Cass, of the opening 9.5 minutes of this one? Pretty even?
Yeah, as always, the girls will go flat strap. It's just waiting to settle in on their gameplay and testing out players in positions and seeing where their best options are. So it'll settle down, I think, in the next couple of minutes, and we'll start to see some good football.
What do you think the impact, probably better to ask you, Emily, the decision this year with the unlimited subs last year was brought down this year, only 3 substitutions. What impact did that have on, did you feel it had on the WPL this year?
I think it's been a really good thing to bring it more in line of, I guess, in terms of a national level, but definitely the first few games of the season you could tell it was a struggle to get a full 90 minutes out of your whole squad, and when you only have 3 subs you really need to be smart about the game play that you're the game technique that you're going to go with, because obviously you can't expect a striker to run for 90 minutes every time you kick the ball. So I think it's had a really good impact though. Like, it's allowed a lot of teams to get some cohesiveness, especially between these Warners Bay and Merewether teams. They have their starting 11 pretty much settled for most of the season.
And do you think there's been more of an emphasis on fitness?
Definitely. If you watch both of these teams play, they play a very fast game. When you're playing against them, you really feel it. You come into half-time and you're really struggling because it is such a fast game out there, and trying to gain control of it's very difficult.
Yeah, I think a really good decision to bring that in line with the W League, NPL as well. Of course, this competition, looking forward to move into an NPL competition like they have in Sydney. Hopefully, in the coming years, that's able to occur. So 11.5 gone in the 2017 Herald Women's Premier League Grand Final. And Warners Bay, the premiers, against Merewether, who finished second. Kingsley, here's an early chance. Her best chance, rounds low. Jenna Kingsley, you just cannot keep her off the score sheet. And she grabs a grand final goal for Warners Bay, and they lead inside 12 minutes. 32 goals this season, make it 33 for Jenna Kingsley. What a season she is having. Confidence sky high after that W League campaign. Just too quick again there, Cass.
Yeah, as Emma was saying before, she's also good on the ball in her turns, and you've got to make sure that you're there, and that was pretty clear. Em picked it, and she scored.
Probably their first real opportunity, golden opportunity, I'd say, of the match. We saw Merewether have a great chance through Riley Dobson a few minutes ago. Warners Bay take theirs immediately. Halverson almost in there with a header. McIntyre under pressure from Davis. The two W League teammates come together. Jane McDonald into the middle. It's both sides' second decider or grand final in the WPL. Merewether, as I mentioned before the match, 2015 they were in the grand final. There's the goal again from Jenna Kingsley. Merewether in 2015 beat Valentine 3-2. And last year, Warners Bay 1-0 over Wall's End. So in that grand final in 2015, Merewether took the lead in that one, Cass. I know that was a heartbreaking match for you.
Yes, they did.
But they're going to have to come from behind here. Can they do that? They were never behind in that grand final, so it's a different feeling for them.
Yeah, I think with Merewether, they have quite a lot of girls who have experience behind them and won't get too rattled by the goal. They'll probably learn from it and then will want to move forward with the ball and contain ball possession. And they're getting a little bit rattled, but I think, yeah, if they come back in the next 15, I think we'll see a pretty even game moving forward.
And that's really the difference. We say an injury. It looks, just having a quick scan, looks as though it may be Ellie Davis who is down. Just receiving some treatment. It would be a blow if she has to leave the park.
Yeah, that hamstring was a bit of an issue for her coming into this week, so
you can see. Well, you probably can't see from that angle, but from our angle, you can see the right hamstring heavily strapped. So things don't look good. And that's the thing. You look at the ages of both these two sides. Merewether, they are such an experienced lineup. Warners Bay have got sprinkles of experience in there, but Merewether overall have got a higher average age than Warners Bay. They came into this match, Warners Bay, on the back of a 3-match winning streak. They lost the match before that in round 19 to Merewether in 3-2 that particular match. Jenna Kingsley got on the score sheet that afternoon, as did Cass Davis. Sarah Halverson, Jamie Ellis, Laurie Depchinski all scored for Merewether. That was enough for them. Ellie Davis leaves the park. See if she does return. Merewether having a little bit of a chat there in that break. Jane McDonald in the middle of that. So we'll see if they can conjure up something here. Braithwaite surge through the middle. Quinlan. McDonald on the turn away from Stapleford. Sarah Hartree finds Riley Dobson. Calls one back into the middle. Davis back onto the park after an injury scare. Grace McIntyre just can't keep the shot down. Lasers that one well over. Merewether looking to gain a bit of revenge for last year's semi-final defeats against Warners Bay. They were knocked out over 2 legs. It was 1-1 in the first leg. the night match. And then in the second leg, Warners Bay won that particular match 2-0. Adriana Jones scoring a double. We've spoken, well, last year, Adriana Jones, we know of her speed up front. But basically, they've replaced her with a like-for-like player in Jenna Kingsley. Now, Adriana's a little taller than Jenna Kingsley, but they've both got lightning-quick speed. Squires into Braithwaite, now Davis. Braithwaite pushing forward, chipping and looking for Dobson. Campbell with the boot in. McIntyre, it sits for her on the edge of the box again. She fires the shot and has taken a deflection, so it will be a corner for Merewether.
Grace is definitely searching for a goal there. She's had a couple of shots in the last couple of minutes. Obviously, one went over and one wasn't far from the post end. So Grace is definitely moving forward.
It seems the flow of the game now, 18 minutes in, Merewether controlling much of the ball. Warners Bay looking to strike on the counter-attack. Here's Ellis curling it inside, or in front of the near post, so not one of her best efforts, but she is the free kick extraordinaire who scored in the 2015 grand final. And she can whip them in from corners, direct from corners and free kicks. So they'll have to be wary, Warners Bay, of giving away free kicks in close range of goal. It's Davis under pressure from McDonald. Those two key players coming together there. As Krupa looks wide. Stapleford angling a run. Kingsley finds Stapleford. Lovely passing. An interplay from Warners Bay. Sits back up for Kingsley. Her shot, not enough power behind it to beat Alison Logue, but lovely play there from Warners Bay. Looking good.
I think Warners Bay will have done their homework on this one. We know that Merewether play a three at the back, and they're quite hard to beat when they can hold the ball up in their attacking third. But with Warners Bay's pace, they can easily counter-attack quickly, and that's where Merewether will get caught out.
Yeah, on those flanks. It's very narrow, isn't it? Three at the back. And if those wing backs on the edges don't get back quick enough, that's where the speed from Warners Bay will make them pay, as they have already in this match through that lady Jenna Kingsley, who is putting some pressure on Nicole Jones. Chips up the line looking for Riley Dobson. Quinlan getting on the ball as Squires finds Stapleford. Nice ball out to Kingsley, who is just offside. It wouldn't have been far for Jenna Kingsley there. Just over 20 minutes gone in the Herald Women's Premier League Grand Final in 2017. Can you see a lot of goals this afternoon, ladies, in this one? Are you thinking it's going to be...
I don't think so. I think it'll be pretty tight. Like, they're playing a very open game at the moment, but I think it's likely to get very physical and chances going to be few and far between.
Yeah, I'm with them on that one. It's going to be a very tight game. So
as tight as last year's grand final, only a goal in it, or are you?
No, I think we'll see a few more, but it just depends on the girls and how they're playing.
Here's Davis taking on McDonald. Who won the duel there. Davis wasn't too impressed. One in the free kick, and will be a corner for Warners Bay. So the breeze not too strong this afternoon from the south, but it is at the backs of Merewether in the first half. And they've had the majority of field position down the other end of the ground.
Yeah, and they're definitely all back behind the ball now. They've left Riley up the front. And
ensuring not to go too behind. Jones with the header away. Davis keeps it down, almost through legs. And Hartree clears it over the sideline. Was a near thing for Merewether there. Seaborn. into Georgia Miners, whose brother Daniel Miners scored, well, I don't know if we've decided yet, but one of the goals of the season in the NPL. It may just win goal of the season for Valentine. Moving to Broadmeadow Magic last year. It's the shot from Taria Campbell. A little high and over the bar. And Cassia coach Taria Campbell, great player at the back, and you think she'll be crucial in keeping Merewether scoreless.
Yeah, look, Tori is quite quick. She normally plays as a wing-back. Since she's come through to Warners Bay, she's actually playing central with Brooke. I watched her last week, and yeah, she's kept her pace, and she can put ball to feet. And when she does, like the one we saw before that Brooke did to Jenna Kingsley that scored the goal, and they'll look to continue to feed her, I think, up front.
Alison Logg almost spilling that one as she's played in 3 consecutive grand finals. Taria Campbell, as has Cass Davis. Sian Keating as well, played in that 2015 grand final. Nadia Squires as well, who was part of the Warners Bay grand final winning side from last season. 7 players out there for Warners Bay today who, well, 7, not all out there, 6 of them out there, and Sian Keating on the bench. And for Merewether, they've got 7 players in the squad that played in 2015 as Squires. Up and over the top, straight to Jones. And to thread it through the middle. Here's Campbell. Point she goes for Krupa. Now Stapleford. Hartree in there. His pass misguided as she was looking for Ellie Withers it was out there. Here's Dobson. Back for McDonald. Looking wide for Braithwaite. And Squires and Quinlan come together there, and Squires has come off second best. Didn't look in a good way, but she's back to her feet.
And we've got the Merewether bench warming up, which includes Laurie.
Yeah, she was shaking hands to... You'd probably know better than myself, Emily. Laurie's injury, but we'll just stick with Jenna Kingsley here as she looks to make it a double. What's the issue with her?
Yeah, well, I think she started on the bench both of the semi-finals against us. She copped a bit of a knock in our first semi. So, I mean, she came on for 20 minutes and played up the back when she came on against us. But I think it's just a bit of a niggle with her knee, I believe. Yeah, they'll be definitely looking to bring her on at some point and have an impact when she comes on.
And being a more defensive-orientated player, they probably hope to have the lead by that point, Merewether, and drop a few more into the back line. There's Jane McDonald. Shipping up the line. Halverson after it. Rugby sevens player as well as an AFL player. Here's Sarah Halverson. Plays rugby sevens for Macquarie Uni. She's very close, from what I've heard, to making the Australian rugby sevens side. So maybe look out for her in the next Olympics or the one after them. Of course, the Australian women's rugby sevens side winning gold at the last Olympics. Multi-talented Sarah Halverson. A few of these Merewether players play AFL for Newcastle City. 4 of them.
I think they've got their finals coming up too.
Yeah, so a chance to win a few grand finals on offer. I know, Emily, you play netball as well as playing in the WPL in first grade. No good this year?
Yeah, no good. We lost our semi-final last weekend.
There's Riley Dobson into the middle. Halverson just couldn't angle it on goal. The crowd pretty boisterous this afternoon. We've got a few horns. I've never heard so many horns at a local grand final.
Yeah, and they're all dressed
there
up.
They
it
are.
looks like
Now, I think
Lakes
that
boys are all here.
it is. Yeah, I've been told. There's Sam Walker with the Mexican hat on there.
Is that the Tin Man? Maybe.
Yeah, I was actually told by the blokes that I call the NPL with that Lakes would be having their mad Saturday and Sunday, I think, celebrations this weekend, and they'd be coming to the WPL Grand Final, so supporting their fellow Lake Macquarie side, Warners Bay. The Sombrero. There's a couple of them over there in the Sombreros. It's Jane McDonald.
I think the only thing they'd be keeping out was the rain today. Definitely no sun.
Exactly. Here's Seaborn after this one. Grace McIntyre attempting the pass forward, but it's taken a deflection off Seaborn. Nicole Jones just in front of us, finding Letitia Quinlan. McIntyre looks forward. Nadia Squires. McIntyre charging after it towards the sideline. Jones goes up the line, but Ellie Davis, sister of Cass Davis, with a head in there, and Warners Bay with the free kick. And Alison McCready just going to go and have a chat to Jane McDonald. From what I've heard, she's going to retire from the WPL after this match. I've been told by Gary Fisher from Northern, so she does work at Northern, Jane McDonald.
Yes, you'd have the inside information on that.
So, I'm thinking so. Maybe she might have another. She'll go around again next year. It's always.
I think there's a few retiring next year at the WPL, so we might see some changes now we've got a new club in.
Yes, tell us more about that, Cass, next year for the WPL.
Yeah, so New Lambton have come in as the 8th club. They're changing the structure to 14s, 17s, 20s and first grade in preparation for the 5-tier competition where you see all the other NPL Sydney teams have, where here at Northern we've only got the 4 tiers still.
Oh, that's good to hear. And New Lambton have got the biggest girls junior base in the region. And they'll be going around next year. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Nadia Squires sticks out the boot and earns the ire of the crowd and earns a yellow card. Clipping over Grace McIntyre there.
Grace is trying to lift her Merewether team, definitely. Her momentum's changed and she's trying to get to every ball and move quickly through that middle.
And she looks like she's been in the wars as well with some strapping around the left knee.
She's actually had both her knees done, I think. Grace had a W League season out with her knee. I'm not sure whether it was a right or a left.
Terrible, those ACL injuries.
Em and I were talking about that before.
This one knocked forward by Jamie Ellis. Taken nicely. Yeah, and that's the thing. It takes a whole season to recover from the ACL.
There's not enough prehab done in the younger ranks, and that's my role now at Northern to make sure that all of that's being done correctly and we're preventing these sort of injuries that are quite severe for girls.
Brooke Miller in there. A strong tackle. Ellie Withers on a push forward. I'm sure Brooke Miller would have got a lot of confidence out of that W League campaign with the Jets. I know she only played the 3 matches, but just being around that environment. As we say, the rain for the first time in the match. It's been spitting this afternoon, but it's coming down a little bit heavier now after the half-hour mark. Whipped in. It's going to beat them all. Dobson at the back post. Flashes one wide. Another good chance for Riley Dobson.
Merewether will be wanting to get one in before the end of this first half, just to make sure that Warners Bay don't have that lead going into second half.
And in saying that as well, Warners Bay, they will not want to concede. Here is Dobson's chance. It's a near thing.
Definitely, we can hear the Merewether coach, Cass, now starting to get a little bit vocal.
And Leon Davis, the coach at Warners Bay last year, is not the coach this year. How much of a role does he play on the bench as sort of the eyes for Cass Davis? Because it is hard being a player coach, isn't it?
It's extremely. I've done that before. It is quite hard because you can only see a certain amount on the field, and when you step back, obviously you can see so much more. So you can pick up things that you wouldn't normally while you're playing. So Leon's actually the TD for the WPL program at Warners Bay.
So technical director sort of oversees all the skills, acquisition, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Just over 32 and a half gone. Merewether, as the rain has stopped for the moment. Another corner for them, whipped in, and Halverson and McIntyre rising there. This one whipped in low, and Letitia Quinlan into the sideline. Here is Quinlan. She knows how to find the back of the net in grand finals. I'm sorry I have to keep bringing it up, Cass, but when Merewether are playing, and they've only played in one other grand final, it's a bit hard not to, isn't it?
No, it's all right.
You've probably gotten over it by now.
No, my husband keeps reminding me.
I don't think you ever forget, Ben.
This one whipped in and taken nicely the near post. Rhiannon Hines spent some time at the Central Coast Mariners. The youth, 19 years of age. McCready gets involved, the referee. Kingsley.
You can see just how quickly Warners Bay are trying to counteract. Every goal kick's coming straight out. With Merewether pushing so many high on those corners especially, they're keen to get the ball straight back out and attack the other end.
Well, Davis, that was a crucial intervention from Jane McDonald, because if Davis gets another touch there and gets away, I think it was going to be potentially another chance on goal for Jenna Kingsley. Wasn't to be. Nellie Davis with the throw. Dobson angles her run. She's got McIntyre with her as well. Campbell's clearance only goes as far as McIntyre. Nice touch from Dobson. Braithwaite. Now to McIntyre. Merewether will keep the pressure. Sarah Hartree with the throw. Over 130 WPL games for Sarah Hartree. And I've been told in her notes, I might come back to that as McIntyre whips this one in. Up they rise. Withers was there. Dobson approaching. Miller gets it away. Brought down nicely, but it's a skewed shot. Wide as Sarah Halverson was trying to get on the end of it. Inside 10 minutes before half-time. Yeah, for Sarah Hartree, I've got that she's over 130 W League games, and she can do the worm, apparently. So there you go. With an emoji as well, I got from Cass Kopp and the Merewether coach. Nicole Jones. McIntyre. Maybe a little heavy for Hartree. It is. So what do you do here if you're Cass Kopp? And obviously they've had a lot of the possession, created a couple of half chances. Riley Dobson's had a couple. What are you saying at the moment, Cass? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, we're trying to stay composed and again get the ball through to obviously Riley and Grace in the front third, but obviously also not trying to turn the ball over. So as we can see, Sarah's dropped quite deep to defend, but then they run forward, so it's keeping that momentum going forward.
So a trickle over. A touchline for Halverson with the throw. McDonald sending Ellie Withers, I should say, on a run down the left edge. for Halverson. Ellie Davis, and Cass Davis has rocketed the ball straight into her sister. And she's got up slowly. She says sorry. That wouldn't have tickled. Bit of friendly fire there. Ellie Davis, who owns her own mobile dog washing business. Ellie Davis, called Paddle Pups. I did check it out on Facebook just to make sure they weren't having a lend them in. It is a real business. So there's a bit of advertising for it. Cole Jones, throw infield. Dobson, Halverson. Back for Dobson. Runs down the edge of the 18-yard box and wins the corner. It was an important intervention from Brooke Miller there. She doesn't get a boot in there, and Dobson potentially could go on goal or tee up someone in the middle from United here. So 7 minutes before the break.
And this is a crucial time, the last 5 minutes.
There's the Lake. Well, I was just going to say, there's the Lake Macquarie boys over their end-of-season celebrations behind the goal there. This one curled in, and under pressure was Hines. She took it nicely. Halverson was flying through. It's going to bounce up. Hartree got it before it bounced. Was what she needed to do. McIntyre weaves her way around the Warners Bay defence. Shoulder to shoulder with Davis. Turns around and Miller up the line. Seaborn just couldn't get her foot on it. Here's McDonald. Squires with the interception. Jenna Kingsley is flowing forward through the legs of Cass Davis. Seaborn back to Davis. Kingsley unmarked on the left. Jenna Kingsley loops it off the bar, and she has a grand final double, Jenna Kingsley.
Merewether are blowing up there. They thought Jenna Kingsley was offside, including the keeper, and fought it.
Well, that's a hammer blow, isn't it? Because Merewether have been in control since Jenna Kingsley scored her opening goal. And the sucker punch. McDonald turns it over in the middle of the park. Seaborn summed it up nicely. Infield for Davis. Davis finds Kingsley. And against the wind, it just brought the ball down nicely. Probably on a normal day, that probably sails over the bar. The wind strong, well, about 15 k's an hour from the south. And it just loops off the bar and in. For that lady, number 7, Jenna Kingsley. Make it number 34 for season 2017. And Craig Deans, who would be loving to say that, wouldn't he? The upcoming W League season.
Yeah, but he'd be wanting his girls in form going into the W League season, which starts in a couple of months.
And they came so close to making the finals last year. The Jets, they played Melbourne City in the final round. They had to win to make it through, and they went down in a close match. But that's a Melbourne City side with internationals, Matildas, a star-studded side. And I think last year for the Jets women, Gemma Simon was the only player with a lot of Matildas experience. Is this one across the face? Is this the moment for Remmer and the United to get back in the match? It is. 2-1. They go behind and immediately they reply. And it's Taylor Braithwaite with the goal. 5 minutes before the break. So the goals are raining in here. The ball just skewing off a boot. There's just stuck it out the right moment. It loops up and over Hines and in. Not massive celebrations from Merewether.
They definitely needed that one going into half-time.
Kingsley lays it off for Davis. Well, here's a little bit of a trick shot from Warners Bay. Davis and Kingsley there through the middle of the park. Davis to Stableford, who is offside here. That's 3 goals for Cass Davis, for Jenna Kingsley, I should say, in her last 2 matches against Merewether. So she's enjoying scoring against United of late. And Taylor Braithwaite with her 7th of the season to get Merewether back into the contest.
We've actually got a few kilts over there.
I know there's, yeah, I don't want to know what's under them, but yes, I'm sure they've been on the drinks for much of the day, and yesterday I've heard as well, so could be interesting by full time. Halverson rises. Well, what a turnaround it would be if Merewether could get another one. As McCready just stopping play. Brooke Miller is down in the middle of the box here. I didn't see it.
No,
Not sure if it was off the ball.
There was quite a few players in the box at that time.
Just have a look. Halverson.
In the face, maybe?
Yeah, the ball came off Halverson and may have been Squires' shoulder. May have got it fair in the nose. Looks a bit red. There's nothing worse than copping it in the nose, is it? Yeah.
Shocking.
Your eyes just start to water. Yep, I'm sure. That's exactly where she's been hit there, Brooke Miller. So inside 70 seconds left in regulation time. The blue skies coming out here at Edgeworth at Jack McLaughlin Oval. 2 sides that were too good for the rest of the competition this year. The Premiers, Warners Bay, up against Merewether United, who finished second. Warners Bay 14 points clear of third place Adamstown. Merewether 13 points clear. So it was just a point separating these 2 sides. Davis pushes forward. Is there another chance for Jenna Kingsley? It may instead fall for Nadia Squires. She looks infield for Kingsley. Here's Squires. Is it a hat-trick for Jenna Kingsley in the first half? Just incredible. There's a bit of afters after she's put that one in. I'm just trying to work out whether they will give the goal to Kingsley, whether it crossed the line from Squires first. We may have to have a look at it on replay again. We'll see if it did cross the line. Here's Squires, it went through legs. And Jenna Kingsley, she wanted a hat-trick. She wasn't letting it trickle over. (3-1) Warners Bay. Inside stoppage time in the first half. And Alison McCready gives Kingsley a yellow card for the celebrations after it. She certainly let Jamie Ellis know about it. And I think Jamie Ellis has gone into the book as well.
Yeah, they both did. Yeah.
So it's probably more of an impact on Merewether than Warners Bay, with Ellis playing at centre back. Hartree and the energy Kingsley has now. Here we go. They're going to come together again here. Ellis and Kingsley. She going to pick a pocket? No. Nice turn from Jamie Ellis to get away from the speedster. Here's Hartree. We did have a little bit of stoppage time, I feel, in this first half. We had injuries. Ellie Davis was down for a period of time. Brooke Miller just a moment ago, so maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Squires flying through. As far as Ellison. Halverson looking forward for McIntyre. It was intercepted by Campbell, and Davis skews one forward. outside of the boot. It's going to fall now for Nicole Jones. It's McDonald. Straight to Davis. Takes on Jane McDonald, who comes back and thinking probably just a minute to go in the opening half. Warners Bay with a 2-goal advantage. Running into the breeze. From the possession Merewether have had, you could probably see them getting back into it in the second half. They've just got to take their chances, and basically Warners Bay have had 3 chances. They've taken them all. Merewether haven't taken theirs, and Alison McCready ends the first 45 minutes in the Women's Premier League Grand Final for 2017. It's been the Jenna Kingsley show in the opening 45 minutes. 3 goals in the opening half. What a performance from her. Merewether United with 1 via Taylor Braithwaite. And they have all the work to do in the second 45 minutes. Half-time here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. It's Merewether United 1, Warners Bay 3. Cass Wright, your thoughts on the opening 45?
Yeah, whilst Merewether had a lot of the possession, it's really, in a grand final, hard to come back from 3-1 at half-time. So with the momentum in Warners Bay's pocket at the moment, especially with Jenna Kingsley and the 3 goals, I think they'll take that into the second half, definitely.
And your thoughts, Emily?
I think it'll be disappointing for Merewether, I think, because they've had a lot of that possession. But unfortunately, I think in the final third, just rushing that final pass, they're always looking over the top and in behind. And unfortunately, Brooke Miller and Tori are all over it. They're up for those headers. They're getting all the balls. So what they need to do is need to be more composed if they're going to have any chance to come into it. But, I mean, Warners Bay is going to keep counter-attacking like they are at the same speed. So it'll be hard to see what'll change.
Cass, I just want to ask you, final question. The threat from Warners Bay seems to be only coming through Jenna Kingsley. That's where the goals have come from. Do you go, Merewether, why haven't you put maybe 2 players on her to reduce her impact? Because she's head and shoulders above their defence at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they've tried to do that, which has then created opportunities elsewhere to come back to her. So they're playing 3 at the back, 2 are marking Jenna, and then 1 creates an overload for Warners Bay to then get back to Jenna. So that's what they've been doing. They go out and then come back.
Allowing Cass, Sass Seaborn, Nadia Squire some space.
on the other side.
Sophie as well.
Right. So they're drawing the defenders out and giving that opportunity to Jenna to run through. And like Em said, she's quite good on the ball. And I'd probably be going back 4 at the back and let Nikki and Turbo become the flankers and probably put Laurie in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something they'll definitely be looking to do, I think, because Laurie just brings a whole nother strength. She's very similar to Jamie Ellis in the way they play. If they have 2 on her, yeah. I think that would be I think that's something Cass will be looking to implement, I think.
All right, well, we will take a quick break. Back in 10 minutes' time. Warners Bay with the lead in the grand final in 2017. See you in 10. Welcome back to Jack McLaughlin Oval at Edgeworth for the second half of the Herald Women's Premier League Grand Final. At half-time, Merewether United down by 3-1. Jenna Kingsley with 3 goals for Warners Bay. And Merewether with a single goal via Taylor Braithwaite. See if they can get back into the contest in the second half. They controlled much of possession in the first half. And Jenna Kingsley and Warners Bay hurt them on the counter-attack. We'll see if Merewether have got an answer to that in the second half. I'm just having a scan out there from what I've seen. I don't think there's any changes from either side. So Cass Coppin, the Merewether coach, happy with the way her side is structured at the moment. Any changes formation-wise at the moment that you picked up from the kick-off, Cass?
Yeah, Em and I were just talking about, we thought that they'd put Grace up front, but they haven't. They've still got their 3-1. Not sure what next. They had the 6 to start up the front, where Warners Bay has still got the 4-3-3 formation, the diamond facing forward.
It's Krupa with the throw. Here's McDonald and McIntyre now. Throw looking for Dobson, but Taria Campbell is in there, brought down by Hartree, and now McDonald. The conductor out there in the middle, Jane McDonald. And Laurie Depczynski. So there has been a change. I didn't spot Laurie Depczynski out there on the left edge, the skipper. Just check who has come from the ground on that left side. McDonald. Miners tries to thread it through for Seaborn. Nicole Jones is there. Looks as though it may have been Ellie Withers who has come off at half-time. Yep. I think it is. It is Ellie Withers. Free kick goes the way of Warners Bay. What would have been your half-time speech, Cass, to Merewether?
Well, I did hear it was quite heated in the change rooms. So, again, it would be refocusing. I would have changed the formation to, as we discussed in the halftime break.
Oh, Alison Logue.
For the 4 at the back and the overlapping runs down the side, just to give that overlapping support on the flankers. Because race in the middle. Yeah.
I've been found out there thus far. As Alison Logue, that would have been a horrible way to start the first half. You sense a goal for Warners Bay, the first goal in this half, and it'll be all over. It's already going to be a tough assignment for Merewether, but another goal and becomes almightily difficult. This one curled in towards the near post.
I think this half will see quite a physical game as Merewether come back quite strong.
And Emily, do you think Warners Bay, they'll be happy to sit back a little deeper in the second half with the 2-goal advantage?
I don't think so. Generally, like, Warners Bay will continue to keep attacking because a lot of the time that's how they gain their possession and keep the ball is by those counter-attacks. And they want to push Merewether back as far as they can by keep counter-attacking.
It opens up here for McIntyre and on to Dobson. She's got McIntyre in the middle. Dobson chips it forward. And maybe just a little heavy for Grace McIntyre, who spins around, curls it back in. Dobson, it was just a little high for her. Sits back up for Braithwaite, who's already scored this afternoon. Looking for a second. Now McDonald, she was under pressure from Georgia Miners. Quinlan, Depczynski. Now to Dobson. Here's the shot from Dobson. What a save from Rhiannon Hines. Tipping it over the bar. That could be a big play come the end of the match.
That's a great save there. That was dipping. And to be able to get a hand on that and put it over the bar, phenomenal.
just 19 years of age. Looks to be one of the future Rhiannon Hines. Here's Jones curling this one in towards the near post. Will be another corner kick. Now we've got the Lake Macquarie Roosters, the NPL first grade boys. They're over near that corner. We've got the sombreros. We've got the Tin Man.
An astronaut, Ben.
Oh, it's an astronaut. I thought it was
waving the American flag.
It is an astronaut. Neil Armstrong. So we've got.
I think their nationalities over there.
We've got the Germans there as well.
Yeah. It looks like Ellie might be struggling.
I think that might be looking for her.
There they are. You can see them.
The first sub.
Here's Jones curling it in. And again, another corner is unable to hit the mark from Merewether. Normally pretty good from the set pieces and not so thus far this afternoon. The sun back out. Sheree Campbell. The goal kick. Halverson out muscles her and wins the free kick.
This could be dangerous here for Warners Bay.
Could have. They played advantage there for Merewether.
I'd say they'll be holding it up for the free kick. Merewether is smart and they know that they don't want to play advantage with that scenario. They had the numbers behind the ball.
Especially with Jamie Ellis.
You did not want to give away a free kick there.
A free kick specialist. So it's on a left boot, but it's on the non-preferred side for a left footer. So what can she muster? Straight into the wall. And Taria Campbell, she decides she wants to take off the heads of the Lake Macquarie boys against the sideline. That's a duck out of the way there. Oh, it's all happening this afternoon at Edgeworth. See if McIntyre can get there first. Not before Brooke Miller thumps that one up the ground. Jones finds Depchinski. Will be another throw for Merewether. It's a very similar trend this second half to what it was in the opening 45. Merewether with a lot of possession. Down in the attacking third. Dobson holds it up. McDonald. Squires. Bit of a shanked clearance over towards the sideline. McIntyre tries to curl one up the line. Jamie Ellis to Depchinski. And Cass Davis was too quick and dispossesses her. Seaborn takes on the Merewether skipper. Couldn't find Jenna Kingsley in the middle. She's been kept relatively quiet in the second half, hasn't she, Jenna Kingsley?
Yeah, so far.
McIntyre goes to ground. Stapleford. Davis chipping forward for Taria Campbell, who's now pushing forward. Nicole Jones. Taria Campbell turns her back on that one immediately. Jenna Kingsley doesn't turn her back, but it does beat her, even with the speed she has. Will be a goal kick for Alison Logue. Still a 2-goal gap, still the halftime score in the Herald Women's Premier League Grand Final. The Newcastle Herald doing a wonderful job with their sponsorship of this competition yet again. So thanks again to Newcastle Herald for their support of this competition. Halverson. Well, Taria Campbell slips over. She may be cramping up here because she stays down. And there's no one with Sarah Halverson there. which is surprising. When Merewether were down by 2 goals, they didn't have anyone flowing forward with Sarah Halverson there.
No, and that's the formation that we were talking about, that Merewether aren't getting enough players forward in that front third to actually create opportunity.
Halverson. Now McDonald chipping forward. Riley Dobson gets there first. Big moment for her. She spins and can't get the shot on target. Another chance goes begging for Merewether. And you sense they just can't keep wasting these.
No, they've got to take those opportunities, as we saw with Warners Bay. Jenna had 3 opportunities, scored 3 goals. So
and she hasn't had any others, has she, Jenna Kingsley? She's had 3.
No.
She scored them all.
Yeah.
One, I would say, is an opportunity that you couldn't physically miss when the ball's a centimetre from crossing the line.
You would think that, but I'm sure.
Jane McDonald.
Anything can happen in a grand final, Ben.
We talk about impossible misses, but that's one of the ones that I just feel you couldn't miss, is Alison Logue. That's the question you ask, is with that goal to Jenna Kingsley, if that's you in that position and the ball's a centimetre from going over the line, do you kick it or do you let the other person score the goal? It's a tough one, isn't it? As a striker, you're always going to kick it in, aren't you?
Yes.
Definitely make sure of the goal, that's for sure.
When in doubt, kick it in.
That's why we play a team sport.
Here's Nicole Jones.
And here we see these overlapping runs, even though they've got the 3 and they're leaving 2 exposed at the back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It's a nice ball in. Dobson rises. Campbell got there. Letitia Quinlan loops that one up and over.
They just really need to get these shots on target. They're having plenty of shots and the opportunities are there this half. They're just not capitalising on them.
No.
So it looks as though we're going to see our second change of the afternoon.
And Ellie's coming off and Sian Keating's coming on by the looks of it.
Yep, Ellie Davis limping from the park. She took a knock early on in the first half. She soldiered on. She's going to leave the park now. Solid performance from her. And Sian Keating, she played in last year's grand final, the 18s captain for Warners Bay. She's into the fray, playing in her 3rd consecutive grand final. Part of that 2015 grand final as well against Merewether. McDonald rises. Kingsley brings it down. Kingsley almost finds Stapleford. She was going to be away too. The bright blue boots. Davis. Chipping it forward. Alison Logue is going to come out and grab that one. Works as a firefighter, Alison Logue. Played for the young Matildas and Central Coast Lightning as well. For the Jets as well, Alison Logue as Nicole Jones. Towards Halverson, who wins the throw. So almost a quarter of an hour gone in the second half. Depchinski. McIntyre tries to thread it through. Depchinski, and unluckily for her, it comes back off her leg and over to Sian Keating got a boot in. So it'll just be the goal kick once more for Brooke Miller.
The keeper actually was saluting the boys then.
Enjoying a bit of friendly banter, and we saw about 5 minutes ago Taria Campbell tried to clean up the whole group of them. Would have been a strike, I think. There's about 10 of them there. Depchinski with the turn. And she gets fouled in front of the Roosters boys. And they want the card. They're not going to get it.
She's already on a yellow, so she needs to be careful about the challenges she makes, I think. Nothing too much in that one, though.
So Jamie Ellis again. She's having a bit of a chat over there with Grace McIntyre, who she's now going to leave the free kick for. Which is probably a better decision, considering McIntyre is a right footer. It's not a bad delivery from McIntyre. Hines with the punch. Again, more chances being created by Merewether. Just unable to put it across the line. And Seaborn is away. This is where Warners Bay are so dangerous. McIntyre charging after her. She steps inside, away from McIntyre, and Seaborn into the middle. The clearance from Hartree. Sits up for Cass Davis, who chips one towards Kingsley at the back post. Kingsley on the turn. Still Jenna Kingsley. Back for Seaborn. Ellis putting her body on the line. It was Letitia Quinlan, I should say, putting her body on the line. This looked to be a similar ball there from Cass Davis towards Kingsley that Cass Davis scored from in the 2015 grand final.
Oh.
We see Davis win the free kick, and they're taking it quickly here. Krupa. Infield for Kingsley. Kingsley gets pulled out of it by Jamie Ellis. And then Davis goes over. They've had already a little bit of push and shove this afternoon, Kingsley and Ellis. And she's got to be careful because she's already on a yellow card.
She's running a fine line with that one.
Yeah, that is... If she's not already on a yellow, it's one of the ones where you probably say she probably gets a yellow, isn't it? But is it enough for a sending off for a referee in a grand final?
He's actually questioning it by the looks.
Yeah, Alison McCready.
This could be a second.
Well, is she going to give her the yellow? No, she's not. She's going to say, you're very, very lucky, Jamie. Merewether United, they have never beaten Warners Bay in a finals match. Is it going to continue this afternoon as Squires from the free kick chips it towards goal? Alison Logue.
Nice and easy for the keeper, that one.
Yeah, takes that nicely. She rockets one up the ground. And
I
Merewether
think
City,
Riley supporters over there.
as Dobson wins the free kick. It's surprising that Merewether are only sticking Riley Dobson up front in those situations while they are defending free kicks and corners when they're down by 2. Thought they may throw a little bit more caution to the wind. As Dobson curls it in. Braithwaite, she's already scored one. She shanks that one. May fall for her again. Goes back looking for McDonald or McIntyre, and instead...
And now they're in trouble.
They're in a little bit of strife. Sass Seaborn flowing forward. Kingsley in front of her. Still Seaborn. Alison Logue down low. Does well for Merewether. No goals in the second half. If you just joined us, Jenna Kingsley with 3 for Warners Bay in the first half. Taylor Braithwaite with 1 for Merewether. That's a lovely piece of skill by Krupa. Hartree. Here's Ellis. Back to Sarah Hartree. McIntyre inside. Hartree finds Halverson. Now Jamie Ellis pushing forward. So Ellis launches one, and it was on target as well. Rhiannon Hines strong in front of goal there.
And we hear Coach Davis Senior getting a bit vocal now, making sure that they hold that lead at 3-1.
Hartree wide for Braithwaite. It wouldn't be a great feeling being up 3-1 in a grand final and going down, and I'm sure Leon Davis on the touchline wants to ensure that that doesn't happen to Warners Bay. Halverson, she's worked so hard this afternoon. Hines has been outstanding in goals for Warners Bay.
And again, outnumbered in the box for Warners Bay. It's only one Merewether.
And really, it suits Warners Bay, this kind of game where they can sit back a little deeper and then break with Jenna Kingsley up front. So it's suiting them perfectly, being ahead 3-1. Kingsley 35 goals this season. Yes, 35. And this is her 21st game of the year. So almost 2 goals per game on average. That's incredible. Dobson lays it off for Ellis. Chips it forward for Dobson, who just brought her run to a halt. There's the free kick. Or it may just be, will be.
There's a lot of tussle out there now.
Yeah, 25 minutes inside the final 25 now to go. Quinlan back for Dobson. Davis pinches it and just can't keep it in. All it takes is a goal, isn't it, for Merewether? And then all that confidence you get from scoring, the energy.
Yeah, and we know they can put those one away when that's really important.
It's been their issue so far. They just haven't been able to hit the target. McIntyre had a couple of chances earlier. McDonald just can't thread it past Stapleford. She can now. Braithwaite, a lot of pressure on this. She's got to find the target. She finds Sarah Halverson, and Merewether may have found their way back into the contest. Taylor Braithwaite whipping it in and finished superbly by the tall forward, Sarah Halverson.
And I think that was a bit of a knee or a high.
Bit of a knee, they all count.
It's what she does best. She's always driving into that box, and her and Taylor combine really well out on that field, and she just doesn't stop running. And as you can see, got something on it.
That was a beautiful ball, wasn't it, from Taylor Braithwaite? Scored one, sets up another. 3-2. We said all it takes is a goal. Sarah Halverson with her second in 2 matches now against Warners Bay. She scored in the last match between the sides. That one, Warners Bay went down in that one 3-2.
And that just shows the difference with Merewether having that extra player or two in the box, and they can create those chances. They are switching the ball quite good now,
and here is Braithwaite again. All of a sudden, the pressure on Warners Bay, whipping it in again. Hines takes it nicely. Halverson just couldn't quite get forward. Emily, you said at halftime you would love to have a tracker on Sarah Halverson because she is just everywhere.
Yeah, I think she definitely runs all over the field. You know, you find as soon as she has an attacking chance, she's back defending. If the ball gets lost, she's always chasing down players. So her work rate's phenomenal.
Grace McIntyre chips it over the top. Depchinski flowing forward. Halverson
great hit.
Tries her luck and just couldn't keep it down. And Merewether are coming for the Bay here.
The momentum's lifted for the Merewether team definitely in this last couple of minutes.
They went through undefeated at home this year, Warners Bay. 8 wins and a draw. Similarly, Merewether, they didn't lose at home either. Their 3 losses coming away from home. They won 6 of 9 away from home. So another match here, not at Myambla Crescent. And they're behind. Can they turn that around as Cass Davis gets brought to ground by Depchinski? We've had a high goal-scoring grand final this afternoon. 3-2. There's been some high-scoring grand finals over the years. 2014, the emerging Jets beat Adamstown 5-2. It was 4-3 Adamstown over Lake Macquarie. The year before that, as Alison Logue takes that one nicely. Adamstown 6-1 over Lake Macquarie in 2012. 3-2 Valentine over Magic in 2011. Edgeworth beat Valentine 1-0 in 2010. And Magic beat City 1-0 the first year. Halverson again with a chance.
And Toria just got a toe to that and put it out inside.
It's a good match up there between Toria and Sarah.
Braithwaite infield. Stapleford smothered there by Halverson, but was able to get back on the ball. Will be a Merewether throw.
I think Cass is still limping after that last challenge.
As Cass Davis goes to ground again. McIntyre using a body well there.
And you got a W League teammate tussle there.
The horns are going off again. Young Edgeworth boys over against the scoreboard on the far side. Here's Ellis unleashing. Straight to Hines. It's the Merewether substitutions bench. Warming up, so there's 2 substitutions left that they can use. They've got Rebecca Stewart, Carolina Kasic, Freya Clifton, Shani Vasey on the bench. Laurie Depczynski now on, so just 2 left. There she is.
We've seen Laurie move now back into the central defender role.
Jamie Ellis pushing further forward.
Yeah.
Here's Davis. Takes on McDonald. Now whipped in by Stapleford on her left boot. Not as sweet as she would have liked. There they are. Merewether bench. Squires now. Turns away from Dobson. Along the tarmac and straight to McIntyre. Dobson. Halverson is forward. McIntyre approaching on her left, and Brooke Miller came in with a strong challenge. Davis tries to find Kingsley. McDonald. Nice control of the ball by Merewether again. McDonald finds McIntyre. This is lovely movement from United. Ellis over the top for Halverson. She has Dobson approaching late in the middle. Braithwaite on the turn. It'll be a throw. McIntyre takes them on, takes on Campbell into the box. McIntyre squares it up, and it probably had too much pace on it in the end. Blazed through the middle of the box.
It certainly did.
In the end, just a throw for Warners Bay. Just over 18 minutes to go in the grand final. Warners Bay led 3-1 at the break. And Merewether with a goal back just a few minutes ago via Sarah Halverson. Davis wide for Stapleford. She come up with something special here, Sophie Stapleford. She's got a special story. Returning this year to play after missing a couple of seasons with a brain tumour. And now she's back on grand final day this year. Carolina Krupa coming down to take the throw. She's had some time at the emerging Jets. Valentine and Swansea, part of the side that won the grand final last year. Warners Bay. McDonald whips one up the line. The foul called by Alison McCready. Here's Depczynski on the turn. Kingsley breathing down her neck and turned over. Seaborn. Seaborn low. And Logue there again. The near post. Rolls it out to Ellis. McDonald. Have well and truly got the creativity, Merewether, to find themselves another goal. And this woman has been at the centre of that. McDonald. Once she goes, Braithwaite. Letitia Quinlan. Couldn't quite get on the end of it. Says her favourite sport's rugby league, Letitia Quinlan. Here she is again on the ball. She always has plenty of support at matches. Here's Depczynski. Finds some space, and Jenna Kingsley takes it on herself.
She's playing advantage.
And it will be advantage for McCready. And I don't know how much advantage there was there for Merewether as Miller. Down the far side, Kingsley saw the moment. This one straight to Logue. Kingsley gives her a bump on the way through. She's been kept silent in the second half. Jenna Kingsley barely touched the ball after a first half to remember. Halverson over the top. Dobson with some space. Can she equalise? Great save, Hines. Dobson. Great save, Hines again. And then off the line by Krupa. And then Sarah Halverson, after all that, equalises for Merewether. And what a grand final we have on our hands now.
Definitely have a game on our hands now.
15 minutes to go. Sarah Halverson with 2 in the second half. 3-3 at Jack McLaughlin Oval.
And that was great reaction time from the keeper.
That was one of the hardest goals I've ever called. Yeah. My voice had to stay up the whole time. Here it is. Dobson 1, Hines saved 2, then number 3 cleared off the line. Halverson puts it in. And says thank you very much. I'll score a second.
The composure from Halverson though, like coming in at the speed she was coming in at.
And to put it in the corner.
Bottom corner. Yeah. Brilliant.
Cass Davis calling out to the bench.
And they're actually one of the youngsters who's come up from the 16s. She had a stint at the Jets, Amira. So she was playing in their 16s squad, is now come up with first grade. Looks like she's going on.
And Cass Davis immediately yelled out from halfway. She yelled out Amira, and she has taken her jumper off. Number 131, Amira Makunja. Have you ever seen that? Amira Makunja, Braithwaite. Back for Ellis. Hasn't this grand final turned around in the second half?
And that's Merewether getting the numbers forward in their overlapping runs on the outside.
You always thought they had it in them, didn't you? They've been so good in possession.
They just had to transform that into forward runs in that front third.
And put the ball on target. That was their real issue. And in that little phase, 4 shots, all on target. And Rhiannon Hines stood tall. She's been great in goals. I know both keepers have conceded 3, but both goalkeepers have been pretty strong. To be honest, when you make 2 saves, you don't expect to concede, do you?
It'll be interesting to see actually who Wannabe take off through.
So these two sides in 2016, they played out a 3-3 draw. Taylor Braithwaite, would you believe she scored that afternoon? Letitia Quinlan scored 2. And for Warners Bay, Callie Lewis, who's now playing at Wallsend, scored. And Dobson is cut down. Miller could be in a bit of strife here. And she isn't. No card brought out by McCready.
Yeah, I thought that hand was going in that pocket, definitely.
Well, just over 12 minutes to go in the Herald Women's Premier League Grand Final of 2017. Newcastle Herald, they've done a great job with their sponsorship of the competition for another year. So thanks to the local newspaper. Great job supporting the competition.
Yep, definitely that one, Ben. Sponsorship and exposure to women's football is really important, and that's one way of doing it.
Renee Valentine does a great job with the writing the WPL articles in the Herald, as well as for Northern New South Wales as well.
Yes.
Don't know if I think she may try and get here a little later, but she has her grand final, I think, on today as well, or one of her finals matches, so does a great job. There's Renee Valentine. So Merewether just going to be
maybe coming off.
Pause here. Will be Sass Seaborn who makes way, and Makunja is on. And immediately Cass Davis is going to let her know what she wants her to do here. So the hero from last year's grand final is sacrificed now with 11 minutes left. Here's Sarah Halverson. should say Jane McDonald turning it over. Makunja, can she have an immediate impact? Hartree on the turn. Back now for Stapleford. Hartree now on the ball. Turned over. Kingsley is charging after it. If you're a Merewether fan, any side of Jenna Kingsley on the ball would be enough to send shivers down your spine. After what she did in the first half, she turns it over this time. McDonald. Here's Depchinski. Cut down. We know she's been carrying an injury. And she gets back to her feet. Cass Davis.
And Laurie's trying to lift her team in here and push those momentum forward with that ball to feet and combination play in this back third.
So Warners Bay this afternoon, they're looking to be just the second side to win the Premiership and the Championship in the same year. The only other side to do that was Merewether in 2015. In 9 years of the WPL, only Merewether have done that. It looked as though they were cantering towards it. They led 3-1 at the break. Not anymore. McIntyre off the bar. And now Halverson again. Well, what a goal that would have been from Grace McIntyre to win the grand final potentially. And Hartree's header. Well, the drama just continues here. McIntyre chips it over the top. Halverson now. She's been the star of the second half. She's looking for a hat-trick. And Hines. Here's McDonald. Turns away from Makunja. The youngest and oldest players on the pitch coming together there. Here's Stapleford. Cuts infield. Krupa. Sinks the left boot through it. Here's Makunja at the back post. He was trying to find Jenna Kingsley in the middle. Alison Logue. Squires brings it down. Finds Kingsley. She turns. Hartree was there straight away to block her. And Sarah Hartree now surges down the park. She threads it through, or tries to find Halverson. Campbell is there. Halverson out muscles her, but Taria Campbell gets a boot back in there. That was a big win from Taria Campbell there.
Yeah, definitely. Sarah's looking quite dangerous, as
McIntyre over the top for Dobson. She takes it away from Hines. Good decision from Hines there not to follow her. And Dobson straight into the leg of Keating. And Davis has some space in the midfield. That was important for McIntyre to get back and ensure that was the issue in the first half. Merewether just turning the ball over in the midfield. McIntyre again. This time she keeps it low.
And Grace's work rate has been really quite consistent in that middle for Merewether.
I definitely think she's been one of their best on park today. She's held that midfield together, especially in that first half. She was holding the ball up a lot.
And probably at this point we have to talk player of the match. I'd have to say on both sides, you've got to look at Jenna Kingsley, and I'd probably say Halverson rises, Halverson charges, Halverson rolls it over the line, and the goal is awarded. It's been a second half to remember from the hat-trick hero, Sarah Halverson. 4-3 to Merewether.
And you were just talking about how well she's playing and scoring those goals, and there's another one.
Number 3, Jenna Kingsley was all over Merewether in the first half. It's been the opposite in the second. It's been Sarah Halverson dominating Warners Bay. 4-3. Unbelievable.
And they're still contesting here. Nadia's questioning Allison on the decision, along with Cassidy.
Stapleford was knocked over in the box. Jenna Kingsley just wants to get things going again. She's wondering what has happened here in the second half. 3-0 to Merewether in the second half. Just incredible. Kingsley back for Davis.
That's definitely something that Sarah brings to the team, is her athleticism. Like, she goes up for every ball. You can see that she's not pulling out of that challenge there. She's going up with her head, and she's created an opportunity and finished it. So.
And now it's Warners Bay with the work to do. You just felt there was going to be another goal. There are just chances flying everywhere for Merewether. Now, player of the match, we were looking at. I was trying to speak about that as Sarah Halverson put in her third. We were probably getting it down to Jenna Kingsley, Sarah Halverson, Grace McIntyre in the middle for Merewether, the other one. I think
definitely.
It's been outstanding. Jane McDonald's been good too.
For sure.
Here's Nicole Jones. It is all flowing the way of the women in white now.
And Riley can strike on both feet, so if she gets a hold of it, she can put it on over
McDonald is in the middle. What a celebration that would be for her if she could score in her final WPL match.
Go out with a goal.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. The fairy tale finish. So corner for Merewether. 5 minutes left in regulation time.
Waters Bay will need to get this one straight out. You don't want to be conceding at this point. They can definitely look to counter-attack if they can get the ball out to Soph Stapleford, who can then play on with Kingsley.
So McCready gives the free kick as Cass Davis has felled in the box. They had the same problem not last week. They've got a head clash here. This is not looking good.
Oh, we have 2 down.
Looks as though it may be Grace McIntyre who is the 2 W League teammates
Grace and
on the deck.
Cass, yeah.
They're not in a good way at all. Well, we might try and see what happened here, but I think it's pretty obvious. Yeah, just back to Warners Bay. So last week they didn't have the problem. They won 3-0 against Far Mid North Coast, but yes, there's that head clash again. But McIntyre went down a little bit later. But the week before, in the first leg of the semi-final, they conceded 2 goals late against Mid North Coast. They're up 4-0, conceded 2 late. So the same thing has happened here. They didn't lose that match against Mid North Coast, but still conceding late goals has hurt Warners Bay.
Yeah, definitely. Like Em said, that last 5 minutes of this any half is crucial to a game where you can actually win or lose. So Warners Bay have to knuckle down in that back third and make sure that Sarah is marked out, definitely.
Leon Davis having a chat to Warners Bay girls now. McIntyre is up. This is the thing in football at the moment. There is no rules with concussion. Also in rugby league, rugby union, they have the concussion test. They go and have a 15-minute test, decide whether they can come back out. In football, there's nothing like the concussion test, and I think it's something that is needed to be brought in.
Yeah, I think definitely, especially in this final series, we had a really nasty head clash with Merewether last week. We actually had a girl very concussed, and it was fair challenge, both going up for the ball, but I definitely think that it's something that will be start to brought in the next couple of years, especially when the research comes out about it.
Exactly, and I think it's going to be fascinating over the next few years what does happen. There's been research to say heading the ball has caused some issues later down the track in life. So imagine that. Football without the header would be, hopefully
definitely different. There we have one.
Very much so. We've had about 2 or 3 in the last 10 seconds. Here's Halverson. Wide for Quinlan. Now McIntyre. Looks as though she's recovered. And just continuing along the same trend. Even though they're ahead, Merewether, still controlling possession. Hartree back for Depchinski.
And she's not taking any chances on that one. Where the keeper did.
Here's Quinlan. Now for McIntyre.
A few hearts in mouth there.
Grace McIntyre again pushing forward. She's done a ton of work this afternoon.
She sure has.
Dobson.
And we've got 2 out already.
Now McIntyre's cleaned up in back play. Braithwaite puts it in. Well, surely you've got to play advantage there, don't you?
That would have been.
As McIntyre was floored on the edge of the 18-yard box. Do you play advantage there, Casserole? I think you have got to play advantage.
She would
have had to, yeah.
If she'd opened a vision up, I think she only had eyes for that at the moment. But if she'd opened up to that ball, then for sure.
Allowed it for sure. And it'll be interesting here actually to see what it is, whether it's a free kick, inside or outside. No, it's outside the box.
The fact that Merewether are ahead is probably better, but I'm just thinking if Merewether are behind 3-2, they score there.
Yeah, we've got a card as well.
So, card brought out for Brooke Miller for the bump on McIntyre. She's been in the wars as well today. So who are we leaning towards for player of the match? Grace McIntyre has been outstanding. We know Kingsley has been good, but only for the first half, Jenna Kingsley.
I think looking at the whole match, you've definitely got to go with someone like Grace McIntyre, who's been consistent for the 90 minutes.
Sure.
You know, many players have had half a game where they've been really influential, but Grace has been strong for the full 90.
So she's got the Mexicans, she's got the Germans behind her dressed up. She whips this one in.
Oh, too heavy.
Just keeps it. It's too much under it there. We'll try. Yeah, she's still a little, still feeling the effects from that head clash.
And they're getting numbers behind the ball now, Merewether, so they'll be looking to...
Halverson with a head up. We'll try and have a chat to a few players post-match. Now that we've got our commentary position pitch side here, try and grab a few over and have a chat to them, as well as our player of the match, who at the moment, you never know what could happen. Sarah Halverson may grab a fourth.
That's right.
Probably Grace McIntyre, as here's Dobson.
And she's looking for people in there.
Whipping it in, straight to Hines, who quickly grabs it. She knows how important it is to hoof the ball up the other end of the ground. Kingsley, off the boot, brings it down. Depchinski, wide she goes for Sarah Hartree, known as Turbo, and she puts it over the touchline. Stapleford.
And we extra time now, Ben?
We are in stoppage time, and I would say we're going to have a few minutes, at least 5.
Yeah, for sure.
After the head clash, so don't go anywhere.
It's a great comeback for Merewether, regardless.
Halverson. Davis with the throw. Stapleford. McDonald. What a way to go out for her in a final match, leading 4-3. McIntyre, I thought there may have been a handball there. She gets away with it. Riley Dobson is charging through. Sian Keating, though, has the pace, but she can only put it over the sideline.
Merewether will take their time here. Try and hold it down this end.
Dobson
Yeah,
probably could take a little further up there, Taylor Braithwaite. Dobson, does she take it to the corner?
she'll hold it.
She does take it to the corner, and all Krupa can do is put it over the byline. Great job as well today by the Edgeworth Eagles here at Jack McLaughlin Oval to put on this grand final day.
And make sure that we're undercover.
Make sure we're undercover as well. Make sure we're not getting wet. Warren Mills and Brad Wheeler getting the tent out for us.
The weather's held up nicely, which has been good.
Yeah, we've got a rainbow out.
We've got a rainbow as well. This one whipped in. Oh, Jamie Ellis again from the free kick. From the corner, I should say.
Oh.
Almost scoring direct. She
last week, directly off a corner. First goal of the game. She can definitely get it in there.
It was definitely on her favourite side too.
Yeah.
Here's Brooke Miller. Goes low. McIntyre puts her head in front of the ball. That would have taken some guts after what happened moments before. Kingsley now onto the ball. Can she weave some magic here? McDonald. What about the goals at the southern end of Jack McLaughlin Oval? We've seen 6 of them out of the 7 this afternoon. Just the one from Taylor Braithwaite down the northern end. Ellis, as Squires gets brought to ground. She'll let McCready know about it as well. 3 minutes now.
It was a good challenge, actually. But I don't have the best angle.
Well, you don't.
You never do you?
Squires just pumps it into the box. Depchinski rises. Letitia Quinlan. And now Georgia Mine is trying to pull one from the playbook of her brother, Daniel, from a fair way out. Couldn't get the contact. Kingsley now tries her luck and can't keep it on target. A reminder that next weekend on Bar TV on Saturday from 1 p.m. or 5 to 1, huge semi-final. Hamilton Olympic up against Lambton Jaffers. It was 2-1 to Lambton this afternoon. That ties on a knife's edge. Edgeworth and Magic here next Saturday, 7 p.m. We're into the dying embers of this WPL Grand Final. McIntyre pushes forward. Alison McCready says that will do. Heartbroken last year against Warners Bay. Today, Merewether United have their say and win their second WPL Grand Final in 3 years. 2 Grand Finals for Merewether and 2 victories for Cass Coppen's side. What a remarkable achievement. And for Warners Bay, it's defeat on the biggest day of the season. And for another year, the Premiers are unable to win the championship. And United remain the only side to win the double in 9 years of the WPL. Full time here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. They were down 3-1 at half-time, Merewether. It finishes full time, Merewether United 4, Warners Bay 3. Cass Wright, what a contest this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely a thrill seeker in that second half. We hadn't quite written off Merewether, but we knew they had the potential to come back, being the older and more controlled side, which they were in the end, and were able to capitalise on those forward movements that they hadn't been in the first half.
Well, we've gone with Grace McIntyre as our player of the match. We will try and see if we can grab her. Emily, I don't know if you mind going out there and going out and see if you can grab her and bring her over here. If she's not celebrating too much, yeah, if you can grab her now, we just wait for their celebrations to finish, and they're celebrating pretty hard out there.
Oh, yeah, is that Raleigh's contingent over there? Maybe, no?
Yeah, Raleigh's over there with the Lakes boys. You probably can't see it on screen, but the Lakes boys are over there celebrating. So there you go, Merewether celebrating. NBN TV cameras over there. That'll be on the news later this evening. Just incredible, Cass. Like 3-1 down at halftime. You always felt with Merewether controlling a lot of the first half that they could fight back in this one. Yep. But in the end, it just it didn't. Well, in the end, it happened in the second half. And for Warners Bay, what they brought in the first half didn't eventuate.
No, that's right. And that's what we were talking about, Merewether changing their formational runs. And they did that with the wide flankers coming into play. And that definitely changed the game, especially for Halverson, who they put up front.
As we see Merewether celebrating there in front of the cameras. We're gonna take the presentation live here. And after celebration last year for Warners Bay, dejection this year. What did you make of Warners Bay's tactics into this match? Because in the second half, Merewether just got on top and kept their foot on the throat.
Yeah, definitely. When I watched Warners Bay play last week, if they played again like they did today, which they did, there was no contention in the game, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, the combination play through the middle third breaks down, and they look for Jenna up front, and they weren't able to get it to Jenna in the second half, and therefore there was no opportunity for Jenna. So I think that let them down, and the momentum changed for Merewether. So with the combination of those two things, the score tells the storyline.
Yeah, do you come out of a game like this as a Warners Bay fan or player and go, could have we done more? Could have we changed something up? Because it just seemed like, and that's always the thing with a player coach, you know, you can't always see what's going on the pitch. Yeah. Was there something? Because they just didn't seem to have a plan B. No,
and you can tell they're all dejected and quite upset, some of them, that it didn't come off for them. But, yeah, they need to have a plan B, especially when you come up against sides so consistent as Merewether.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we've got our player of the match, Grace McIntyre, coming over now to have a chat to us.
Come here, Grace. Thanks for having me.
Now, I'll let you two ask some questions as well, but Grace, just first question, what did Cass say at half-time? You're down 3-1.
All season we've been trying to play the best football that the WPL has ever seen, and we knew for this game we just had to dig deep and start playing as a team. Every girl in our team is a good player and they've got good attitudes, and we knew if we could play as a team, we'd win.
Your key for us was influential definitely in the second half, but you were so consistent in the first half. What was your perspective of what you needed to do to get the outcome?
I think for me, I just need to play simple. Like my whole life, I always have too many touches, and I knew if I just started playing simple and playing those balls straight away, then we have players like Harvo and Raleigh who can just put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what they did.
Yeah, did you feel like it was basically a case of taking your chances in the second half? First half you created plenty, just didn't take them.
Yeah, we definitely knew that we had to create a few more chances and we had to take them, and I think that's what we did. Yeah.
You're done? You're done? Grace, congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
Go and celebrate with
Thank
the girls.
you,
And
thanks.
great performance today.
See ya.
So we'll keep that, we'll have the presentation live, but just, yeah, the fighting spirit of Merewether today.
Yeah.
And you said, Grace, there saying about how they wanted to play the best football in the competition. Would you say that Merewether have achieved that this year? Have they played the best football the competition has ever seen in the WPL? Maybe Valentine 2015 played.
No, they didn't even. Again, it's consistency is the key. To play good football week in, week out is quite challenging in the WPL because you're bringing players through that don't have the experience or possibly the knowledge as your Graces, but they're the players that need to be in the WPL to bring the players through and be at a level standard or consistent standard that you need the WPL to be. Yeah.
And I think that was pretty obvious. Like when you look at the average age of Merewether, quite a lot of their squad is an experienced team, but a lot of the other teams in the league are quite young. Like we have a lot of young girls coming up through the ranks. So for them to come out and play the ball around in the middle like they did in the second half really sets a standard of what can be achieved in the midfield and what these girls can be aspiring to.
And
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Cass, onto the WPL for next season. Onwards and upwards, 8 sides. New Lambton coming in. I'm really excited about that. My local side, so I'll have a side.
No bias there.
I'll have a side to support next year. So
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. Unfortunately, with girls, there's player swings and you could have a whole club jump. So I would hate to see that. I know that New Lambton have worked really hard to bring up through the ranks their players. It will bring a different dynamic to the competition, definitely, and especially the ages coming through, the 14s and the 17s. A lot of the 18 sides may stay in the 20s because now it's under 20s, and you won't see as many players go into the WPL. But as Em said, the WPL is quite young, so your average player, 22, 23, and that's still quite young. So I think we need to maintain in Northern New South Wales the older players to keep the
why
standard.
is that? Why are there so many? Why is it more of a younger competition? Because you see the NPL, the men's NPL, you're probably looking. There are a lot of younger players now.
But you're bringing back the A-League players, so that's what.
You've probably got an average age of about 26, 27, haven't you? In that?
And I think we need that with the WPL. So when I played in Sydney, we had older girls in the squads, and that did level the squads out in balance and composure and experience. Where we need more that of Northern, with the girls that have come out of the W League back into the WPL and create that momentum and the experience.
And it's very rare, isn't it, in the WPL to see players aged 30 or above. Merewether have got 2, but very, very rare to see. I would say in the rest of the competition, Emily, you'd know this better than me, but there wouldn't be many others.
No, I think the exodus of the players like Ash Wilson and Amber Nielsen that we used to have in the competition, like we did see a large group move into coaching roles and move away from the WPL as well. So I think there just needs to be some sort of, I guess, in future planning, looking at some incentive for bringing those players back to the competition, just to give that, I guess, the level of standard that's required to keep the competition at a high standard.
And having players like, Gemma Simon obviously playing great football at the moment, but in 5-6 years' time for someone like her, Chloe Lagazzo, players like that, to come back and play locally if they want to live in Newcastle.
Yeah, that's right,
So.
and if they choose to. So for me, I think last year's state league was 37, but at that age, it is hard work. To keep up the level of tempo and the fitness at that age, you have to work twice as hard. And then you've got your lifestyle, so obviously family work plays a big part as well. So, but Em's right, there needs to be more incentive for those players to want to come back, and the level of football that they play at. It's easier to play a good level of football than it is, as they would say, a kick and giggle. So it needs to be for them at that level for them to want to come back.
And that's the thing, it's just trying to develop that depth here in the WPL. We've got some quality sides here, but you've seen this year, Warners Bay, Merewether right at the top, but then there was a big gap back to the rest of the field.
Yeah, and that's it. And the coaching comes into that. So I know Northern, like my position, coach education is key. having the coaches that can give the girls the skills and the talent and be able to capture that and take them to a different level, there's not enough. And there's not enough female coaches that can endorse that. So I think Cass is the only WPL, apart from Coach Cass Davis, but Cass Copen, and even when you go through the lower ranks in the younger age groups, there's only one or two coaches that are female.
And Emily, how many years have you been playing in the WPL for?
So in first grade, this is my third year.
And have you seen gradually the quality of the competition increasing over those 3 years?
I think so. I mean, the exodus of obviously the emerging Jets was a bit of a loss for a while there. But I think the standard is still where it was. I think that having players like Cass Davis and Riley staying locally and playing locally helps the standard, because obviously they bring a whole different game to what us emerging players play. So I think it definitely keeps the standard high.
That's the thing. It's about those players that are in the W League system. You've got Riley Dobson, Jenna Kingsley. It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it?
Definitely.
You want them to go to Sydney and test themselves against the best, but you also want them to stay here to keep this local competition strong, isn't it?
And that's the hard part, I think, finding that line, because, I mean, for their career development, Sydney would be the best for them to go and improve their game, but you don't want to completely remove the talent from the local competition either.
Yeah, so it is a catch-22, and Craig's probably makes those sort of decisions, what they can or can't do, or what his preference to what they do, and then they've still got jobs, uni, and that sort of thing as well. So that plays a big part. Also
want to ask you too, what do you think's been the issue with sides that win the premiership not going on to win the grand final? What is that?
There's quite a few things. So if we keep going back about my grand final, I had quite a lot of ex-W League players, current W League players in there, and it's, again, about the commitment and consistency. So not all of them turned up to training. It's getting them committed and having, again, the right backing, not only just of the coach, but the club. It all needs to fit in, and you can be consistent all year, Warrens Bay, on top of the table, and not pull out the final scorecard. So it's a number of things. Different teams peak at different times, and as I said, I felt Merewether were going to win this one simply because of the way they were playing.
And I feel like this grand final, some grand finals you see a side win the grand final that probably didn't deserve to in terms of on the ladder. They weren't consistent throughout the season. I felt today's grand final, whoever won probably deserved it because they were that close to each other throughout the season. And in the end, it came down to Merewether, four matches between the sides this year. Merewether won 3 of them. So really interesting to see that they had the upper hand when they played against Warners Bay.
And again, that's them showing that they could possibly have been there. And I know Laurie was out for a couple of games, and those key players play a big part in whether the team actually wins or loses each week. So 1 or 2 games in this competition can mean the premiership or not the premiership. Yeah,
exactly. Now for you two, as we're just about to take the presentation, what are you two up to next year?
For me, I'm finishing up with Macquarie SAP. We've got our state titles in 4 weeks, and I'm hoping to continue with Northern as the technical advisor for WPL in the 14s and 17s next year. This year we saw a good growth in the coaches' education and as well as the players. So for Northern, that role is pivotal as they look to put some of those positions in the NPL SAP boys. And head forward for the girls, yeah.
Well, I'll ask you, Emily, when we come back from the presentation. Kate Haberfield from NBN is hosting the presentation. We'll take it right now.
And David Eland, CEO of Northern New South Wales Football, will say a few words.
Thanks, Kate. Could I just start by, could you all give Kate a big round of applause thanking her today for emceeing? She's certainly added to our event. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here. A huge thank you for coming out and supporting Grand Final Day. Can you put your hands together for our two teams? What an absolutely fantastic grand final. One of the best for many, many years. So well done to both teams. We've had it all today, I'm sure you'd agree. The fancy dress was unbelievable. We had someone try to get in with a goat. That's the first time that's happened to me at a game of football. So certainly Women's Premier League for 2017 has delivered. Let me just get through a few thank yous before we get on to the teams. I want to thank the Newcastle Herald. Kate's already welcomed Chad Boston, but can you all put your hands together for the Newcastle Herald, who are the naming rights sponsors of our WPL. Another couple of thank yous. Really important that we thank Edgeworth FC for being our host club today. Sure you'll agree that they've all done a great job. To Warren, Brad and all of the volunteers at Edgeworth, thank you so much for hosting today on top of a busy NPL season. Well, I think it was fitting that Warners Bay and Merewether are in the grand final today. They've certainly been the clubs that have dominated throughout the year. They finished on 46 and 45 points, so it was great to have them here. And I think we should acknowledge Warners Bay for being the premiers. Unlucky today, but the premiers for the season. So well done to Warners Bay. A couple of other thank yous. I want to thank the volunteers from every club that is involved in the WPL. Without the volunteers who put in hard work right throughout the year, we wouldn't have teams competing and we wouldn't have events like this. So can you please put your hands together for all of the club volunteers from all the 7 WPL clubs. Last couple of things from me. I want to thank the match officials. I know they'll be recognised individually, but to every match official who has officiated in our WPL, well done and thank you very much for your support. Your job is very difficult at times, but thank you. So please put your hands together for match officials. I want to thank the members of my team who put so much effort into all of our premier competitions. Including the WPL, the operations team that's led by Alan Nisbet, and also the marketing and communications department that's led by David Comedy. And while we're talking about media partners, Bar TV, thank you so much for your coverage of the game today. Great to have the game live streaming. Lastly, before I get off the microphone, women's football is not over for the year. Please all remember about the inaugural Women's State Cup that is on at our facility in a few weeks' time. If you enjoyed today, get along next week. That's enough from me. I'm going to hand it back to Kate. Thank you.
Thank you, David. We'll start our presentation by acknowledging the terrific work of our match officials today. Referee Alison McCready. Assistant referee Samantha Chapman. Assistant referee Eleanor Jones. And the fourth official Samantha Newell. Thank you, ladies. Now I'd like to call on the captain of Warners Bay, Nadia Swires.
So, firstly, Merewether, thanks for challenging us all year. Congrats on getting to the final and congrats on the win, so well done. We'll go with who's the behind the scenes. You've kept us going all year. Thanks for putting on a great tournament, and it's just been excellent. The level of football in the region is just growing year by year. Yep. To our fans, to our family, to our friends, thanks for coming every week. Yeah, you've kept us going, you've been awesome, and just thanks a million. Now to my girls, We've had a great year. We've played every game as if it was our last. So thanks for making the season excellent. So start with Rhiannon. Rhiannon Hines. Amber Leatham. Ellie Davis. Brooke Miller. Tori Campbell. Our coach, Cass Davis. Jenna Kingsley. Zoe Jones. Sass Seaborn. Kareem Kruger. John Keating. Georgia Miners. Sophie Stapleton. Caitlin Lydiard. Amira Macunya. Alrighty, so Fran Davis, our beautiful manager. Leon Davis. And Kim and Jeff Keating. Where are you, Jeff? Come on.
Congratulations, Warners Bay. Well played. And now I'd like to welcome up the captain of Merewether, Laurie Dupinski.
What a game! Woo! We just like keeping our fans on the edge of their seats right till the 90-minute mark. That's why we come. Yeah, well, I'll start with Warners Bay. Thanks, girls. You've been a good challenge all year. So close. Lucky we just got you there, but congrats on the minor premiership. You deserve that, so thank you. I'll thank our sponsors as well. We've got Lingard Private Hospital. We've got Darracon. We've got Terrace Crosses. And Liz as well. And thanks again to the Herald and Edgeworth and everyone who made it easy for us to get here today. So thank you. Thanks to our support staff. We must have the most support staff of any team in the WPL. I may as well go through them now. So Ryan's been doing the conditioning for us. We've got Ian and Pete also have been coaching, and Nikki as well, who gets us together every game. And Tori hiding at the back there, looking after us as well when we feel ourselves need to. Thanks to all the fans who came out as well, the ones who come all season and the ones who made the effort to come today. Thanks so much. Yeah, so thanks for coming, guys. Like, the atmosphere today was awesome. So thanks so much. So we'll go through our team, just starting from the start there. Beck, come up. Casey. Carbo with the 3 goals today. Ellie. Tay, up you come. Al, big Al. Kept it cool today. Sticks, up you come. Turbo. We've got Nikki Jones. Grace. Freya, come on up. We've got Jano. This might not confirm, might be her last year, so it's a good send off for Jano. Well done, Jane. Not confirmed though, not confirmed. Jamie. Rose, come on up. And our last big thank you is to Cass. We must have got 50 heart attacks a year. She puts up with this. That halftime talk in there, you would think like she was going to be smashing this, but she didn't. She actually boosted us up, and we didn't have a doubt. Cass didn't doubt us. She knew we could come back, and this wins for her. So come up, Cass. And the rest of us, of course, up. Come over. Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 WPL winners, Merewether.
So for the second time in 3 years, Merewether United, the champions yet again in 2015. They were the premiers as well. They did the double this year. Warners Bay, the premiers, going down in the grand final. If you missed it, Warners Bay led 3-1 at halftime. A hat-trick from Jenna Kingsley, who's just crossing the screen there. And in the second half, Sarah Halverson scoring a hat-trick to win the match. So really it came down to a goal at the northern end. All 6 goals, 6 of the 7 goals were scored at the southern end. Merewether scored 1 at the northern end. That was the difference, 4-3 in the end. So what a grand final we had. Emily, I just wanted to finish up, ask you, next year, you are staying on at Adamstown?
I'm actually not sure of my plans for next year with my studies, so I'm not sure if I'll even be in Newcastle or...
Maybe play for New Lambton Eagles?
No, I could even be in a different country, so I don't know what will happen next year, but hopefully most of the Adamstown girls stay together. They're a pretty great bunch. I love playing with them, so...
Well, we will wrap it up here. Cass and Emily, thanks so much for being a part of the grand final day yet again.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. It's been awesome as always.
And we will leave you with scenes of Merewether in a bit of a huddle there, celebrating their grand final win in 2017. And Gary Fisher, look at that, starring across the screen. Reminder, next Saturday, 1 p.m, it'll be Hamilton Olympic at home to Lambton Jaffers. That one, 2-1 to Lambton after the first leg. 7 p.m, the second leg of Broadmeadow Magic versus Edgeworth. Edgeworth leading 1-0 in that one. And then next Sunday, we will be at Magic Park for the New FM grand final. And it will be, I haven't found out the score in the other match, but I'm going to say Cooks Hill up against Bell Swans in that particular match. So a big grand final day awaits us next week in the New FM. So full time Thanks for joining us once again from Jack McLaughlin Oval. It finished Merewether United 4, Warners Bay 3.